Hey Zen fam, it's me. Sorry you've only got me in audio form, but I'm in the countryside, so I've not been able to keep up with the usual standards, so there's no face cam, and that's why I'm probably going to be a little bit late with this story, because countryside internet is complete and utter dog poo. So, it has come to my attention that PAX has been, shall we say, not very nice to Mr. Colin Moriarty. For those of you unaware, Colin Moriarty used to be a fairly high-level journalist at the illustrious IGN, obviously based in San Francisco. As some of you may know, Colin Moriarty was one of the progenitors of the Podcast Beyond podcast. I said podcast too many times, but anyway. So, he was working with Greg Miller, and eventually guys like Brian Altano and stuff, and over the years, they provided much entertainment. A few years later, Colin Moriarty, who was at the time very good friends with Greg Miller, moved away with Tim Gettys and Nick Scarpino to form Kinda Funny. Kinda Funny rocked along for a wee while, and eventually Colin Moriarty felt that he was not served creatively by working with Kinda Funny, and decided to set up on his own, performing a channel called Colin's Last Stand, where initially Mr. Moriarty would work primarily within the political sphere, considering that Mr. Moriarty continually tends to have conservative leanings, which is his right to his freedom of speech. If that's his bag, that's his bag. And after much sort of want from his audience, decided to also move back somewhat towards gaming sphere. So he speaks on history, he speaks on politics, and he speaks on gaming. And he has gained good traction in all these particular media stream markets. Great for him. He also has quite a sizable, profit from his Patreon. So, the last couple of years have been reasonable to Mr. Moriarty. However, he was going to be at PAX, and with his appearance at PAX, he was going to have some, live Q&A stuff with the fan base. And understandably, his fairly loyal fan base was quite excited to do this and meet him and come to the show, possibly a wee signature, who knows. Like many other people have done with the likes of Boogie2988 and Markiplier, any other amount of, medium size to largish size YouTubers and streamers that come to events such as PAX or VidCon or whatever else have you. However, PAX decided to cancel Colin Moriarty's event without telling Colin Moriarty to the last moment. Thus, his fan base, had a lot of which had spent money on accommodation and flights, organising time off work, had basically been left high and dry. Now, admittedly, yes, Colin did actually give a little bit of money back to the community, so a handful of people, I don't know how they were picked, but a handful of people actually got some money from Colin Moriarty, so that they weren't left completely out of pocket. But it strikes me that, a content creator shouldn't have to do this for his audience. That the runners of something as big and as sustained as PAX should have had a bit more together, so that he could have informed his audience. Now, whether or not you like Colin Moriarty, or his fan base, or his views, or even indeed his content, or even how he makes his content, or how his content is funded, the point I'm driving is he should have at least been given a bit more warning so he could have warned his audience, don't buy a ticket if you're coming to see just me, or mostly me, because you won't be able to. And that just seems to be a show of bad faith on PAX to not just Colin Moriarty's audience, but also to their own audience. that there is such a deep lack of miscommunication. Anyway, I just thought I would bring this to you. Hopefully it'll worm its way through the countryside internet that I currently inhabit, and in a few days I should be back home and able to produce proper content again. I'm possibly going to be able to do an experiment when I get home, which may involve a live element. So if you see a video pop up, it's probably not going to be worth watching at that point, but if it works, then it will lead to something cooler, which I think you'll like. Anyway guys, enough prattle from me. Obviously, tell me what you think of this particular story in the comment section below, and as always, please remember to rate, favourite, comment, share and subscribe, and of course, as always, aye, nae bother.